This is a brain 2 at San Diego State University. What they're doing is they're using targeted individuals, yes, as guinea pigs for training, research, and development, but they're also using an artificial superintelligence. But they're also using targeted individuals, tens of thousands of them, to remotely tie government informants and government perpetrators to the system. In other words, they're entraining their brains to the system. Go here, do this, say that, act this way, stare at the victim, be undercover. That's all a game. It's all designed to create synaptic responses, allowing the supercomputer to lock on, to entrain people's brain to the system for remote neural monitoring. Now, it becomes mind control if they don't agree to be a slave. Then that's when it becomes mind control. But millions are targeted. Millions. They got these kids running around here playing, the little childish cloak and dagger games with me and staff, and they don't even know they're victims of the technology. And that's the way it is everywhere, not just at San Diego State University. It's that way everywhere. They're using targeted individuals to entrain, to create responses, synaptic responses, using physical, psychological, emotional, intellectual responses by the government informants and government perpetrators. And what they're doing is they're entraining their brains to the system. They're victims. The technology can be achieved at lower intensities. And only at higher intensities will people know they're even targeted with this technology. Especially if they're only the victim of remote neural monitoring. If they're only the victim of remote neural monitoring, unless they understand how to read active memory, they have no chance of knowing they're being used and abused and enslaved in this way. It's just not possible. Unless you understand the technology, it's not possible. You have to be able to read active memory. There are universal symptoms, but for the most part, people who don't understand biocommunications technology cannot come to grips with the fact that they're already victims. They're running around here with these childish cloak and dagger games. These government informants, which are civilians, and these government perpetrators, which are people who work for the government in whatever capacity. They have no idea they're being entrained to a supercomputer, to a system of remote neural networks. And by the time they find out, it will be too late. Not only physically too late, but eternally too late. They're targeting the human soul, the area responsible for the will, intellect, and emotion, the area of the cerebral cortex responsible for spatial thinking. It's transhumanism. It's not just about global depopulation. It's also about transhumanism, and this is it. Every single day. They got these kids, and everywhere else I go, these government informants running around here with their childish cloak and dagger games. The government doesn't use people like that. It's just who have any meaningful purpose for intelligence services. I used to work for the Department of Defense. I have some idea of how that works. You don't deliberately draw attention to yourself if you're a legitimate, informant or perpetrator. You don't do that. You don't do it. That's the difference between That's the difference between surveillance and organized stalking. In surveillance, the government either doesn't care if the target knows, or they don't want the target. They don't want the target to know. That they don't care that the target knows. That's it. It's it. In surveillance, they don't want target to know or don't care if target knows. But with organized stalking, cause stalking, gang stalking, different names for it, the target, the victim, must know they're being stalked, or its organized stalking is ineffective to neutralize that person, or for whatever reason, to accomplish whatever reason they want against activists, dissident, or whistleblower. And a dissident is simply anybody they don't like. But what people fail to realize is that when they participate in this game against the targeted individual, they're dooming themselves. They're allowing these supercomputers to lock on to their emotional state. Going on for decades. It didn't just start This is Brian 2, 1117 at San Diego State University at the outdoor area.